One of our top stories this morning, a 21-year-old eastern Montana man has been arrested in an apparent murder attempted suicide in the death of a 21-year-old woman at a residence near Miles City. Custer County Sheriff Tony Harbaugh says Travis Doss was booked into jail on suspicion of deliberate homicide while Thursday's shooting was being investigated. The woman's name has not yet been released. Harbaugh said Friday that dispatchers got a 911 call about 10:30 Thursday morning from Doss reporting a shooting at his residence about 35 miles southwest of Miles City. Responding officers found him with a gunshot wound to his head and a woman dead of multiple gunshot wounds. Doss was treated at the hospital and arrested. Jail staff said Friday they did not know if he had an attorney. Harbaugh said investigators were not looking for any other suspects. Prosecutors in northwestern Montana say they will not be filing charges against a 72-year-old man who shot another man at his house in Arlee. Lake County Attorney Steve Eisenbacher told the Missoulian Friday witnesses reported the January 17th shooting of 49-year-old Leonard Peak Jr. was a justifiable use of force. Eisenbacher said two people witnessed the altercation between the two men and said the shooter was backed into a corner and had no choice but to protect himself. Peak was shot with a .44 Magnum pistol. Officials did not release the shooter's name. Missoula County Attorney's Office had an atypically slow week, but according to County Attorney Kirsten Papps, there was a local hate crime reported.
We filed 11 new complaints this last week. 2 of those were crimes against people. One was a partner family member assault / tampering with a communication device case that involved a domestic situation that occurred sadly in the presence of a 5-year-old child. There was a disorderly conduct / hate crime that we charged.
Papps says the hate crime incident normally would have been a misdemeanor disorderly conduct, but because of the victim's religion and because the crime revolved around the victim's religion, it was treated as a hate crime. Papps said the suspect wrote something targeting Jewish people on her car and then deliberately pulled the car in front of a Jewish family.
There was an aggravated DUI in which the defendant allegedly crashed into the town pump, Flying J. There were 4 property crimes, a theft, a burglary, a trespass, and a criminal mischief. And then there was 1 resisting arrest.
11 felony complaints on the low side for Missoula County, which often has up to 20 cases per week. A recent federal audit of the Crow Tribe's court system alleges mismanagement of federal funds, nepotism, and the creation of a hostile work environment for a recently elected associate judge. The Bureau of Indian Affairs told the tribe its federal funding is in high-risk status, and the tribe will have to provide documentation before its expenses are reimbursed. Crow Chief Judge Leroy Not Afraid told the Billings Gazette this past Wednesday that he had reviewed the report but declined to comment. The report says the tribal court spent nearly $45,000 on a 2016 Chevy Tahoe that could not be located, and that Not Afraid approved a $21,000 severance payment to his wife, an associate judge who was not reelected. The report says the new associate judge is being paid less than her predecessor. For the 12th year, Project Community Connect brought a host of services and assistance to homeless individuals and families this year at Zootown Church, located on Brooks in Missoula. Of course, the event was Friday. Reaching Home coordinator Teresa Williams described just some of the services offered at that event.
We have folks that are doing the point-in-time survey. So every year we have to do a homeless census count. And so they're asking, where did you sleep last night? So we can get data that will help us for federal funding and help our housing resources. We have registration that's happening as well. We also have IDs and birth certificates. Credit reports are being pulled as well.
Williams said the entire church building was being utilized to offer services to Missoula's homeless population.
A lot of demand. There's a lot of people struggling, even if they're not homeless yet, but they're at risk, so they need to come here and help access some extra food, to kind of, free medical care, really kind of, help them along so they don't become homeless. But absolutely, there's so many people here that could use some extra support.
Williams said up until this year, the event was called Project Homeless Connect. A Montana teenager accused of driving more than 100 miles per hour and crashing his car, killing his 17-year-old passenger, has pleaded guilty to negligent homicide. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports 19-year-old Jacob Burrows entered his plea Friday in the September 2016 death of Joseph Carnifex. Burrows of Bozeman is scheduled to be sentenced in March. Investigators say he acknowledged driving more than 100 miles per hour at the time of the crash, which happened a week after he was charged with burglarizing a medical marijuana dispensary. A plea deal in the negligent homicide case calls for a 6-year deferred sentence and restitution. The defense has said the death was an accident and that Burroughs understands the severity of the charge. Lake County Sheriff Don Bell has sent a letter to the editors of Western Montana newspapers in response to allegations by an opponent in the sheriff's race that he had not been addressing the need for a new county jail until the time came to run for re-election. Bell responded on Friday.
We've been working on all the different components that would take to get a new jail here for over 3 years, and that entails going to other facilities, looking at them, looking at designs, talking with the commissioners, talking with architects, and so we've been working on this for over 3 years.
Bell said the number of offenders regularly far outweighs the number of beds in the Lake County Jail.
It averages about 20 a week that if we could have, we would have put these folks in jail if they're like be a $25,000 warrant or $100,000 warrant. Most of them are that type of offense. Any violent offense, we incarcerate, and we just try to stay at our numbers we're supposed to be at 46. But if there's any violent acts, then we make arrests and make room for them.
Bell is seeking his second term as the Lake County Sheriff. Jeff Fee, former CEO of St. Patrick Hospital, has accepted the interim position as chairman and CEO of the Missoula Economic Partnership, replacing James Grunke, who resigned recently. Scott Berg, president and CEO of Missoula's First Security Bank, described the mission of the Missoula Economic Partnership.
We do business attraction, meaning bringing new businesses into our market. We do business retention, meaning we help the existing businesses here grow and expand their personnel base, creating better and higher paying jobs. And we also get involved in just doing some of the research or being involved in the research like the workforce and the housing studies that are going on just to make sure that we are attracting higher paid jobs for our community.
Berg said the partnership has been instrumental in helping to establish many new businesses and light industries in the Missoula area. He said Fee is working on several projects, but was willing to step in as interim president and CEO until a new national search can be conducted to name the leader for the Missoula Economic Partnership. Our News Talk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station. Patchy morning fog, otherwise mostly cloudy skies today with our high temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Tonight, around a wet weather with our overnight lows right around the freezing mark. Winds will be out of the southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster, KECI 13.